Welcome to the Sleepless Historian. If you find yourself enjoying this tranquil journey into the past, kindly consider liking and subscribing. And don't forget to turn on loop so this soothing exploration can repeat. Oh. Just saying, as you settle in, dim the lights around you. Take a moment to adjust your pillow. Wrap yourself in a soft blanket and allow your breathing to slow. Inhale deeply and exhale gently. Feel your shoulders relax as we embark on a journey through a most peculiar aspect of medieval life. Today, we will explore the excruciatingly mundane history of left-handed sword fighting regulations. Yes, the trials and tribulations faced by those who wielded a sword in their left hand, navigating a world predominantly designed for right-handed individuals. Little by little, we will delve into the specifics and routines that govern this unusual practice. Picture the medieval landscape, where the clang of metal and the rustle of fabric filled the air. Training sessions took place under the watchful eyes of instructors, who adhered to strict guidelines. The left-handed swordsman would begin by learning the proper stance, adjusting the grip of the sword in ways that felt unfamiliar. Each movement was a careful choreography, a dance between blade and body, performed in the shadows of towering castles and vast open fields. Whoa, hi. Step by step, the regulations dictated how far apart the feet should be, how the sword should be drawn, and where to position the body to avoid awkward encounters with right-handed peers. The left-handed swordsman would often stumble over his own feet, struggling to adapt to an environment that was not designed for him. This gentle examination will reveal many such details. From the measurements of swords to the etiquette of engagement, we will explore how these practitioners navigated their unique challenges. As we drift through this history, remember to breathe, to relax, to listen. The story unfolds slowly and gently. Let us begin this calm exploration, where every detail matters, and each regulation tells a story of resilience amidst the mundane. As we delve deeper into the intricacies of left-handed sword fighting regulations, let us consider the tools that accompanied these warriors on their journeys. The swords themselves, crafted from tempered steel, varied in length. Most commonly, a left-handed sword measured between 32 and 36 inches. This particular length provided balance, allowing for a fluid motion that was essential for training. The weight of these blades typically rested around 2 to 3 pounds, making them manageable yet formidable instruments in the hands of a skilled fighter. In the quiet workshops, artisans spent countless hours shaping each sword. They would heat the metal until it glowed red, then hammer and reshape it, ensuring a sturdy, reliable weapon. The hilts, often adorned with leather wraps for better grip, were designed to accommodate the unique angles required by left-handed fighters. This attention to detail was paramount, as a comfortable grip directly influenced performance during practice. Storage of these swords was also a consideration for left-handed practitioners. Each blade was sheathed in a carefully constructed leather scabbard, designed to protect the metal from moisture and dirt. These scabbards were often tailored to the individual swordsman, ensuring ease of access. When unsheathed, the sword had to be drawn across the body in a smooth, practiced motion. This was particularly important, as the left-handed fighter would need to avoid clashing with right-handed peers who would instinctively draw their swords in the opposite direction. The training regimen itself followed a strict schedule. Sessions typically began at dawn, when the air was cool and the world still hushed. The swordsman would arrive at the training grounds, where a well-worn mat marked the practice area. The mat provided some cushioning, though many practitioners would experience the occasional stumble, particularly when adjusting to their unique style. Once gathered, the left-handed fighters would perform warm-up exercises, each one designed to promote flexibility and strength. They would stretch their arms and legs, bending low and reaching high, preparing their bodies for the day's work. After this gentle warm-up, the instructors would introduce specific drills, often focusing on footwork. This was crucial, as maintaining balance while moving was a challenge that left-handed swordsmen faced consistently. Oh. Step by step, the footwork drills would begin. They learned to pivot on their back foot, shifting weight delicately from one side to the other. The instructor would call out commands, urging them to practice advancing and retreating. Each movement required concentration, a deliberate and mindful execution, to ensure minimal risk of entanglement with peers. The left-handed practitioner would often take small, careful steps, adjusting their stance to avoid collisions. During these training sessions, the etiquette of engagement was also emphasized. It was vital for left-handed fighters to respect the boundaries of their right-handed counterparts while practicing. They were taught to acknowledge the space of others, to step back, and to observe. Slowly and gently, they learned the importance of communication. A glance or a subtle nod could indicate intentions. This unspoken language became crucial for maintaining harmony on the training grounds. In Marketplace, swords and training gear were available for purchase. Prices varied based on the craftsmanship of the swords. A finely made left-handed sword could cost as much as 10 silver coins, while simpler versions might be found for 5. The investment was significant, yet necessary, as a well-crafted sword was a swordsman's pride. Additionally, practitioners often sought the counsel of experienced fighters. They would gather in small circles, exchanging tips and sharing insights about techniques that had served them well. This camaraderie was soothing and provided a sense of community. They would discuss the best materials for grips, the most effective ways to store their swords, and the nuances of footwork. Such gatherings typically took place in the evenings, as the sun dipped below the horizon and warmth radiated from the flickering flames of a nearby fire. After training, the swordsmen would retreat to their homes, where they often followed a simple routine. They would wash their swords, cleaning the blades with oil to prevent rust. The process was rhythmic, almost meditative, as each stroke of the cloth felt purposeful. They would then carefully place their swords back into their scabbards, ensuring that each blade was stored with the utmost care. The left-handed practitioner's daily life was filled with structured moments. In the quiet of the early morning, they would rise to prepare for the day ahead. A modest meal, perhaps consisting of bread and cheese, would sustain them, offering energy for the training that awaited. They would then don their practice attire, typically a simple tunic and trousers that allowed for ease of movement. As they moved through their day, it was not uncommon for them to take time for reflection. Moments of stillness were woven into their routines. They might pause, gaze out over the fields, and feel the calming rhythm of their breathing. This tranquility would prepare them for the challenges of swordsmanship that lay ahead. In the evenings, they might gather with friends to discuss the day's training. Over shared meals, they would recount their experiences, each story infused with laughter and camaraderie. These gatherings fostered a sense of belonging. Each swordsman would leave the table feeling connected, supported by a community that understood their struggles and triumphs. And yet, amid these gentle routines, the left-handed swordsmen still faced the reality of their unique position. They navigated a world where the right-handed majority often dictated the pace and style of combat. Adjustments were necessary, requiring constant vigilance and adaptation. Slowly and gently, they learned to embrace their differences. With each passing day, they grew more accustomed to their practice. The movements became second nature, as the rhythms of sword fighting intertwined with the rhythms of their lives. They learned to appreciate the subtleties of their craft, finding solace in the intricacies of their training. As the days turned into weeks, and weeks into months, they continued their steady march toward mastery. The gentle sound of metal meeting metal echoed through the training grounds, a testament to their perseverance. They would breathe deeply, allowing the air to fill their lungs, and slowly exhale, releasing the tension of the day. In this calm exploration of medieval left-handed sword fighting regulations, we witness the dedication of those who strove to carve their own path. Through attention to detail and a commitment to their craft, they navigated a world that was not always accommodating. Each regulation served not only as a guideline, but as a reminder of their resilience. Nay, with every practice session, they etched their place into history, a quiet testament to the strength found within the mundane. As we continue with this soothing narrative, remember to breathe, to relax, to let go. Slowly and gently, let the soothing details guide you into a restful state. In the quiet corners of the medieval training grounds, the left-handed swordsmen began to gather their tools. Each blade was crafted from tempered steel, forged in the fires of skilled blacksmiths. These smiths, often working late into the night, would hammer the metal, shaping it with care. The swords were typically between 2 and 3 feet in length, with a balanced weight that allowed for a fluid motion. The hilt, wrapped in leather for grip, was designed with an ergonomic understanding of the left hand's natural movements. The crossguard, often adorned with simple engravings, provided not only protection, but also a sense of individuality. Each swordsman would take pride in their weapon, polishing it daily, using a soft cloth and a mixture of linseed oil to maintain its sheen. As they prepared for practice, the swordsmen would often gather at dawn, when the light was soft and the world was waking. The training schedule was rigid, with sessions lasting from sunrise to sunset. They would start with warm-up exercises, stretching their arms and wrists. The left-handed practitioners would often face each other, practicing basic stances and footwork. The left-handed approach was methodical, teaching them to adapt to the movements of their right-handed peers. They would take slow, deliberate steps, focusing on the positioning of their feet. Each stance was held for a count of 5, allowing them to become accustomed to the fluidity of movement. The repetition of these movements was calming, a rhythm that mirrored their breathing. The swordsmen would chant their count softly, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, in unison. This gentle practice established a sense of camaraderie, a bond formed through shared effort. Once warmed up, the left-handed swordsmen would practice their strikes. Their trainers, often experienced swordsmen themselves, would observe closely. They would offer guidance, suggesting slight adjustments to their grips or stances. The instructors would emphasize the importance of angles, explaining that even a few degrees could alter the outcome of a duel. Each strike was practiced with precision, aimed at wooden targets at a few feet away. These targets, made of soft wood, were positioned at various heights. The swordsmen learned to adjust their stance based on the target's height, stepping forward or backward as needed. The practice was slow and deliberate, with each strike followed by a moment of reflection. They would stand still, allowing the weight of the sword to settle comfortably in their grip. As the practice progressed, they would alternate between offensive and defensive maneuvers. They learned the importance of timing, how to wait for the right moment to strike, and how to react to the movements of their peers. The left-handed swordsmen often had to adapt their techniques, using their natural advantage of surprise to outmaneuver their right-handed counterparts. Throughout the training day, the swordsmen remained mindful of their surroundings. They were acutely aware of the right-handed fighters, their movements mirroring those of the left-handed swordsman. There was a unique etiquette during practice, an unspoken understanding that both groups would respect each other's space. Left-handed swordsmen learned to position themselves at angles that minimized awkward encounters. They would often practice in a circular formation, ensuring that their arcs of movement did not intersect with the right-handed fighters. This careful choreography allowed for a harmonious environment, where both left and right-handed swordsmen could train without disruption. As the sun rose higher in the sky, the swordsmen would take breaks, often sharing simple meals. Bread, cheese, and dried meats were common provisions, often packed in leather pouches for convenience. These meals were taken in quiet reflection, allowing the swordsmen to recharge and prepare for the next round of practice. They would sit on the grass, feeling the warmth beneath them, and share stories of their training experiences. After the meal, they would return to the practice area, ready to engage in sparring matches. These matches were gentle in nature, focusing on the development of skill rather than competition. The left-handed swordsmen would engage with one another, practicing their techniques in a controlled manner. Each match would be timed, lasting only a few minutes, allowing for multiple rounds throughout the afternoon. During these sparring matches, they would remind each other to maintain a calm demeanor, to breathe deeply, and to move with intention. The sound of blades clashing softly echoed through the training grounds, a soothing backdrop to their efforts. The trainers would often call for pauses, guiding the swordsmen to reflect on their movements. They would encourage them to consider how their left-handedness influenced their techniques. Remember, little by little, the more you practice, the more natural it will feel, they would say gently. As the day drew to a close, the swordsmen would gather their weapons, cleaning them with care. The ritual of cleaning was soothing, a way to end the day's practice with reverence. They would take their time, ensuring that each blade was free of dirt and moisture. The smell of the leather, combined with the metallic tang of the steel, created a familiar environment, one filled with purpose and dedication. After ensuring that their swords were ready for the next day, they would hang them on wooden racks, each blade resting securely, awaiting the next session. Then the swordsmen would often take a moment to reflect on their progress, discussing with one another what they had learned. This exchange of ideas and experiences nurtured their growth, allowing them to build upon each other's strengths. As the sun began to set, casting a golden hue over the training grounds, they would gradually disperse. Each swordsman would return home with a sense of accomplishment. The journey of mastering the left-handed sword was not merely about the technique, but also about the community they forged along the way. They would carry with them the quiet satisfaction of another day spent honing their skills, preparing to face the world with resilience. With each step home, they would feel the weight of their swords at their sides, a comforting reminder of their dedication. The soft sounds of evening enveloped them, guiding them into a peaceful state of mind. As they settled into their evening routines, they would take a moment to breathe deeply, reflecting on their day. They would find comfort in the familiarity of their surroundings, the gentle fading light offering a sense of tranquility. Slowly and gently, they would prepare for rest, allowing the peaceful memories of the day to lull them into a restful slumber. In, oh, in, 8 hours. As the evening deepened, the left-handed swordsmen would find themselves in the quiet space of their homes, surrounded by the tools of their trade. Each sword, carefully crafted, would rest against the wall or lie upon the sturdy wooden table, the cool blade reflecting the dim light. The swords had varied lengths, typically ranging from 36 to 42 inches, allowing for a comfortable grip with the left hand while still facilitating precise movements. Each sword was uniquely balanced, crafted with care, and often adorned with an intricate hilt that spoke of its maker's skill. The swordsmen would take a moment to inspect their blades. They would run their fingers along the edge, feeling the smoothness, the cool steel grounding them in their practice. A ritual of maintenance would follow. They would gather their tools, which included a soft cloth, oil, and a whetstone. The oil, derived from natural sources, would serve to protect the blade from rust. A gentle application would involve a few drops, rubbed along the length of the sword in slow, circular motions. The whetstone, often composed of fine grit, would be used to sharpen the blade. The swordsman would hold the stone steady on the table, ensuring a firm grip. With the blade angled at approximately 20 degrees, they would glide the edge across the stone, back and forth, over and over, each stroke deliberate and calming. Ba, ba, I, da, tin, rori, ke, yenten, yashiru, re, da, da, shish. This process not only kept the sword in pristine condition, but also provided a moment of peaceful reflection, a time to focus solely on the task at hand. Slowly and gently, they would repeat this action, feeling the smoothness of the steel beneath their fingertips. After the swords were meticulously cared for, the swordsman would turn to their own attire. The garments worn during practice were often simple, but practical. A loose-fitting tunic made from breathable linen would allow for ease of movement. The sleeves would be rolled up, exposing the forearms, giving freedom to parry and thrust without restriction. The tunic, typically dyed in muted earth tones, would hide the wear and tear of practice, making it a sensible choice for daily training. Beneath the tunic, they might wear a sturdy leather belt, designed to hold the sword securely at their side. The belt would be fastened tightly enough to prevent any jostling, but loose enough to allow for a quick draw. A pair of trousers made from thick wool would protect their legs, while sturdy leather boots would provide support and grip on the training ground. These boots would be worn with care, polished occasionally to maintain their integrity. The evening would also call for a moment of reflection and preparation for the next day's training. Each swordsman would often keep a journal, a simple bound book filled with notes and sketches. They would use a quill pen, dipped in ink made from natural dyes, to record their thoughts. This ink, a deep, rich hue, would flow smoothly onto the rough pages. As they wrote, they might ponder the day's lessons, noting what felt challenging and what felt rewarding. Slowly and gently, they would inscribe their thoughts, the act of writing creating a rhythm that echoed the tranquility of their surroundings. The journal would often include diagrams of techniques practiced that day, the precise angles of their sword thrusts, the footwork required for effective movement, and the various stances adopted during sparring. Each diagram would be drawn carefully, with measured strokes, allowing them to revisit these techniques in their minds when they returned to training. The process of recording would be soothing, a quiet ritual that helped solidify their learning. No. Yeah. Ah. In the corner of the room, a simple wooden rack would hold their swords and gear. This rack was meticulously organized. On one side, the swords would be displayed, each one hanging at a slight angle, allowing for easy access. Next to the swords, a small leather pouch would contain their practice gloves. These gloves, made from soft but durable leather, would protect their hands during rigorous training. They would be worn over the hands, snug yet flexible, allowing for a secure grip on the hilt of the sword. Once the evening's rituals were complete, the swordsman might turn their attention to nourishment. The preparation of a simple meal could be a meditative process. They would gather fresh ingredients from their pantry, which might include hearty grains, vegetables, and perhaps a small portion of dried meat. The grains, often oats or barley, would be measured with precision, typically 2 cups to feed them adequately. Water would be drawn from a sturdy earthenware jug, poured into a pot, and placed over a low flame on the hearth. The gentle bubbling of the water would create a calming sound, a soft backdrop to their evening. As the water warmed, they would add the grains, stirring slowly with a wooden spoon, allowing the grains to soften. The scent of the cooking food would fill the room, bringing a sense of comfort and warmth. As the meal simmered, the swordsmen might take a moment to practice their breathing. They would inhale deeply, filling their lungs, and then exhale slowly, releasing any tension from the day. In this quiet moment, they would allow their mind to wander, reflecting on the lessons learned in swordsmanship and the connections forged with fellow swordsmen. Then, they'd go. After their meal was prepared, they would serve it onto a simple wooden plate, taking care to portion it mindfully. Each bite would be savored, the flavors grounding them in the present moment. They would eat slowly and gently, allowing the nourishment to replenish their energy for the following day's training. Following the meal, as the darkness of night enveloped the world outside, the swordsmen might turn their gaze toward the flickering light of the hearth. The flames danced softly, casting shadows that swayed across the walls, creating a serene environment. In this peaceful atmosphere, they would reflect on the day ahead, envisioning the practice, the movements, and the camaraderie with their peers. With a final stretch, releasing any remnants of tension in their body, they would prepare for rest. The swordsmen would allow their eyes to close gently, feeling the weight of the day settle into their muscles. In the quiet of the evening, as they nestled into their bed, they would remind themselves of the commitment they had made, not only to their craft, but to the community that surrounded them. As darkness blanketed the room, they would breathe in and out, each breath bringing them closer to a tranquil sleep. Each moment of stillness would guide them into dreams filled with the gentle rhythm of swordplay, the soft clatter of training in the distance, and the warmth of friendship. Hey! As dawn approached, the swordsman would rise gently, shaking off the remnants of sleep, and begin to prepare for the day ahead. The first action would be to wash their face with cool water, feeling the refreshing liquid awaken their senses. In a simple earthen basin, they would splash the water, enjoying the soothing sensation against their skin. This moment would serve as a gentle reminder of the clarity needed for the day's practice. After washing, they would carefully select their attire. For a left-handed swordsman, the choice of clothing was particularly important. The tunic worn would typically be made of sturdy wool or linen, allowing for free movement while maintaining a degree of protection. The left sleeve, however, was often tailored slightly wider than the right, accommodating the dominant hand's movements. The swordsman would slide their arm into the left sleeve, feeling the fabric glide smoothly along their skin. Once dressed, they would approach their weapons rack, a simple wooden structure crafted by local carpenters. This rack, often made of oak, was designed to hold multiple swords in a space-efficient manner. The swordsman would carefully inspect their practice sword, a straight-bladed weapon of approximately 32 inches in length, crafted from tempered steel. The hilt was wrapped in leather, providing a secure grip, while the pommel was designed to balance the sword gracefully in their hand. Before heading to the training ground, the swordsman would take a moment to prepare their gear. A sturdy leather belt was essential, as it would hold the sword securely at their side. They would fasten the belt around their waist, feeling the comforting pressure against their abdomen. The sword would hang to the left, allowing them to draw it with relative ease, considering the positioning of their left hand. Next, they would gather their training tools. A wooden practice sword, also known as a bokken, would be included in the set. This particular training tool was crafted from a single piece of hardwood, carefully shaped to resemble the balance and weight of a real sword. It was lighter, permitting longer training sessions without fatigue. The swordsman would grasp the bokken, feeling the smooth surface, and would place it securely in a leather case, designed specifically for easy transport. The swordsmen would then make their way to the training ground, a well-trodden patch of earth, often marked by the countless hours of practice from various swordsmen. The area was surrounded by tall grass, which swayed gently in the morning breeze. Upon arrival, they would find their fellow trainees already scattered around, stretching and warming up their bodies in preparation for the day's exercises. As they began their routine, it was customary for the swordsmen to first engage in a series of stretches. They would lean forward, reaching for their toes, feeling a pleasing tug in their hamstrings. This process would be methodical, repeating each stretch slowly and gently. Bending sideways to loosen their obliques, they would take care to alternate sides, ensuring balanced flexibility in their movements. After stretching, the swordsman would engage in footwork drills. These drills were essential for any swordsman, particularly for one who wielded their sword with their left hand. The movements would involve advancing and retreating, stepping sideways, and pivoting. They would practice this for several minutes, each movement deliberate and controlled, careful not to stumble or lose balance. Almadal. The swordsman would often practice with a partner, another left-handed swordsman, who would mirror their movements. They would stand a few paces apart, each wielding their practice weapons. With a gentle nod, they would begin their first drill, engaging in a series of parries and thrusts. The sound of wood clacking against wood would fill the air, a steady rhythm that echoed the cadence of their training. As the morning progressed, the training would shift towards sparring exercises. The swordsman would face their partner, each waiting for the other to make the first move. It was during these encounters that the importance of left-handed techniques became evident. The swordsmen would need to adjust their stance, ensuring they did not collide awkwardly with their right-handed peers. This adjustment could feel awkward, but with practice, they would develop a seamless flow in their movements. The swordsman would often reflect on the regulations governing left-handed sword fighting. There were guidelines established by various guilds, dictating the etiquette and spacing required during training. For instance, it was customary to maintain a distance of at least 2 sword lengths between opponents when sparring. This distance allowed for safe engagement without the fear of unnecessary collisions. The swordsman would also take note of the training schedule, which was often posted each week. The schedule would outline various drills, allowing time for both left-handed and right-handed swordsmen to practice together. This structure was vital, promoting inclusivity while respecting the unique challenges faced by left-handed practitioners. After several hours of intense practice, the swordsman would take a break, retreating to a shaded area nearby. They would sit on the cool earth, resting their arms and allowing their body to recover. During this time, they might take a sip of water from a clay jug, feeling the cool liquid slide down their throat, revitalizing their energy. The warm sun would bathe their skin, a gentle reminder of the day's passing hours. As their heart rate slowed, they would reflect on the techniques learned, the mistakes made, and the progress achieved. Each moment of stillness would serve to ground them, preparing them for the next phase of training. As the day drew to a close, the swordsmen would gather their belongings, preparing to return home. They would carefully wrap their practice sword in its protective case, ensuring it remained in good condition for the next session. The swordsman would then take a moment to observe the training ground, feeling a sense of gratitude for the time spent honing their skills. The walk home would be a tranquil affair, the sounds of nature enveloping them as they meandered along the familiar path. They would notice the soft rustling of leaves, the distant chirping of birds, and perhaps the gentle babble of a nearby stream. Each step would echo the rhythm of their day, a soothing reminder of the dedication poured into their craft. Upon arriving home, the swordsman would find solace in the familiar surroundings. They would place their gear in a designated corner of the room, a small but organized space that reflected their commitment to their training. Each item would have its place, ensuring that everything remained easily accessible for future sessions. As evening fell, they would prepare for dinner, perhaps cooking a simple stew with vegetables and grains. The warm aroma would fill the air, providing comfort after a long day. As they enjoyed their meal, they would reflect on the lessons learned, the bonds formed, and the journey ahead. In this quiet moment, the swordsmen would allow themselves to unwind, appreciating the mundane rhythm of life. With each bite, they would breathe slowly, feeling the warmth of the stew settle in their stomach. As the stars twinkled outside their window, they would think about the training to come. With a heart full of gratitude and a mind at ease, they would prepare to lay down once again, ready to welcome a new day filled with practice and perseverance. As dawn broke over the horizon, the swordsmen would rise from their slumber. Slowly, they would stretch their limbs, easing the tension from their muscles. Each breath would be deep and steady, drawing in the fresh morning air. The day would begin with a simple ritual, a routine that brought comfort and structure. The swordsman would start by lighting a small fire in the hearth, carefully arranging kindling and small twigs. The crackling of the flames would create a soothing backdrop, a gentle reminder of warmth and safety. As the fire caught, they would prepare their space for the day ahead. While in the corner of the room, a wooden rack would hold a collection of swords, each meticulously maintained. The swords, varying in length from 30 to 40 inches, would be polished regularly, ensuring that the metal gleamed in the morning light. The swordsman would take a moment to appreciate the craftsmanship of each blade, the way the hilt was wrapped in soft leather, providing a firm and comfortable grip. They would choose their preferred sword, carefully removing it from the rack. The weight of the blade would feel familiar in their left hand, the balance of the weapon a calming presence. The swordsman would run their fingers along the edge, checking for any imperfections. A small whetstone would be nearby, resting on a soft cloth. They would use it to sharpen the blade gently, taking their time, ensuring each stroke was deliberate and measured. With the sword ready, they would then turn their attention to their training clothes. These garments, made from sturdy linen, would be well worn but clean. The fabric would feel soft against the skin, allowing for freedom of movement. As they dressed, the swordsman would tie the laces of their trousers with care, ensuring that they were secure yet comfortable. The tunic would hang loosely, allowing for airflow during the day's activities. Once dressed, they would head outside, where the morning dew would glisten on the grass. The training ground was marked by a simple rectangle, roughly 20 paces long and 10 paces wide. This space would be their sanctuary, a place where they could practice their craft with focus. Before beginning their drills, the swordsmen would take a moment to meditate. Standing still, they would close their eyes, listening to the sounds of nature surrounding them. The soft chirping of birds, the gentle rustle of leaves in the wind. In this moment of stillness, they would center their thoughts, preparing their mind for the day's challenges. After a few minutes, the swordsmen would open their eyes, feeling refreshed and ready. They would begin with warm-up exercises, stretching their arms and legs. Each stretch would be slow and deliberate, focusing on the muscles they would use throughout the day. They would complete a series of bends and twists, gradually increasing their range of motion. Once adequately warmed up, they would start their drills. The swordsmen would practice footwork first, moving in precise patterns across the training ground. They would take small steps, ensuring that each movement was controlled, maintaining balance while shifting their weight from foot to foot. Each step would be measured, roughly 12 inches apart, allowing them to stay grounded yet agile. As they moved, they would visualize the movements of their right-handed peers, their footwork, and stance. This mental exercise would help them adapt their techniques, allowing them to counter the challenges of being left-handed. Slowly and gently, they would incorporate twirls and spins, practicing not just the mechanics, but also the grace required in combat. Time would pass in a soothing rhythm. The swordsman would let the world around them fade, focusing solely on the repetition of their movements. Each practice session would last approximately 2 hours, providing ample time for both physical and mental conditioning. Afterward, they would take a break, sitting on a nearby bench crafted from sturdy oak. Nearby, a small leather pouch would hold a few pieces of dried fruit and nuts, a simple yet nourishing snack. They would allow themselves to indulge, chewing slowly, savoring the flavors. During this quiet time, the swordsman would reflect on their progress. They would think about how their unique left-handed stance might differ from others. The sword would rest beside them, a constant reminder of their dedication. After the break, the swordsman would return to practice, transitioning to combat drills. They would find a training partner, someone who understood the importance of left-handed techniques. Together, they would engage in slow, methodical sparring, focusing on form and technique rather than speed. Each encounter would be carefully choreographed, allowing both fighters to learn from one another. The swordsmen would focus on their opponent's movements, adjusting their own stance as needed. They would practice parrying and thrusting, ensuring that their left-handed techniques flowed smoothly. Now, the training partner would sometimes be a right-handed swordsman, a valuable opportunity to test their skills against a different style. This training would occur in rounds, each lasting around 10 minutes. After each round, they would pause to discuss what worked and what needed adjustment, fostering a gentle and encouraging atmosphere. As the sun began its descent, casting a golden hue across the land, the swordsmen would finish their training session. They would take time to cool down, allowing their heart rate to return to normal. Stretching once more, they would feel the satisfaction of a day well spent. Ooh. Before returning home, the swordsman would clean their sword once more, a ritual of respect for the tool that served them. With a soft cloth, they would wipe down the blade, ensuring it was free of any debris. The sword would then be returned to its place on the rack, safe until the next training session. As they made their way home, the path would be familiar, lined with wildflowers and tall grass. Each step would be calming, grounding them in the present moment. The rhythmic sound of their footsteps would echo softly, a gentle reminder of the day's efforts. Upon arriving home, they would take a moment to reflect once again, appreciating the slow, steady pace of their life. The evening ritual would begin anew as they prepared for dinner, the comforting aroma of stew filling the air once more. With each sip, they would feel a sense of gratitude wash over them, a soothing balm for the day's exertions. And so, the cycle would continue, a series of gentle repetitions that formed the very fabric of their existence. Each day, a little more strength, a little more wisdom, all woven together in the quiet tapestry of their life. Whoa, Ishore. As the evening deepens, the swordsman engages in the simple yet sacred ritual of maintaining their equipment. Each tool is essential, each action deliberate, a slow dance in the soft glow of candle. They begin by gathering their supplies, a wooden bench serving as a sturdy work surface. The bench, worn smooth by years of use, is adorned with small, neatly organized containers. Each container holds something vital to this process: a bottle of oil, a soft brush, and various cloths, each designated for specific tasks. The swordsman selects a cloth, soft and clean, and carefully reaches for the bottle of oil. This oil, often derived from linseed, is known for its protective qualities. They pour a small amount into their palm, allowing the warm golden liquid to pool gently. With the cloth, they rub the oil along the length of the sword, feeling the smooth steel beneath their fingertips. The sword glistens softly in the dim light as they work, each stroke deliberate and tender. The oil seeps into the metal, providing a protective barrier against the elements. They take their time, moving slowly, ensuring that every inch is coated. With great care, they turn the sword, examining the blade from every angle, ensuring it remains pristine and sharp. What? This process, though mundane, is meditative, allowing them to reflect on their practice. Well, after the blade is tended to, they move to the hilt, where they apply a gentle pressure, ensuring that it is firmly attached and free of debris. This attention to detail is crucial, for a loose hilt could lead to mishaps during practice. The swordsman knows that each part of the sword contributes to its overall effectiveness, and thus, each part deserves equal reverence. Maniyai! Once the sword has been lovingly oiled and polished, they place it gently on the bench, allowing it to rest while they prepare for the next phase of their evening ritual. The swordsman then reaches for a small wooden box, its surface intricately carved with symbols of protection and strength. Inside, they store items essential to their training: a small whetstone, a few leather straps for securing the sword, and a notebook filled with notes about their practices and reflections. The notebook is a prized possession, filled with observations on technique, lessons learned, and thoughts on the day's training. They spend a few moments flipping through its pages, reading softly to themselves. Each word is a whisper of the past, a reminder of the slow progression of skill and understanding. They take care to jot down any new insights or corrections they wish to remember, the ink flowing steadily from a simple quill pen. Next, they return to the sword, taking up the whetstone. This simple tool, A rectangle of stone is essential for maintaining the blade's edge. They wet the stone lightly, feeling the coolness against their palm. Then, they begin the slow, methodical process of sharpening. With gentle strokes, they slide the blade across the stone, the sound of metal gliding over stone, creating a soothing rhythm. The swordsman counts the strokes, a quiet mantra in their mind. 1, 2, 3. Each stroke sharpens, each stroke refines. They do not rush, for this task requires patience. They are aware that a well-maintained sword is an extension of themselves, a partner in their journey. After several minutes, they pause to inspect their work, running their fingers gently along the edge. A satisfied smile graces their lips as they feel the sharpness, a testament to their dedication. They place the whetstone back in its designated spot, nestled among the other tools, and take a moment to reflect on the importance of care in their craft. The swordsman then moves to tidy up the workspace. They gather the cloths and empty containers, placing them neatly back in their respective locations. Each item has its own place, a simple order that brings comfort and clarity to the evening. They take a deep breath as they complete this task, appreciating the tranquility of their surroundings. The final task of the evening is to prepare for the next day's training session. They select a few pieces of gear, a light leather vest that offers some protection, and a pair of sturdy boots, perfect for movement. They take care to hang these items on a wooden hook by the door, ensuring they are ready for the morning light. This preparation is not hurried. It is a gentle process, one that reinforces the rhythm of the swordsman's life. They take their time, folding and arranging, creating a space that is both functional and inviting. The vest, supple and well-worn, carries the scent of leather and the whispers of many practices. The boots, though scuffed, are reliable companions, ready to support every step on the training ground. As the evening draws to a close, they take a moment to light a small candle on the table. This flickering flame casts a warm glow, illuminating the simple beauty of their living space. They sit down in a comfortable chair, allowing themselves to relax and reflect. The day, filled with practice and care, is coming to a peaceful end. They close their eyes for a moment, listening to the soft crackle of the candle. It is a sound that soothes, wrapping them in a gentle embrace of calm. In this quietude, they allow their thoughts to drift, contemplating the movements of the day, the rhythm of their training, and the connections forged with their fellow swordsmen. Each thought is like a leaf carried by the wind, floating lightly in the air. They breathe deeply, feeling the weight of the day lift ever so slightly. As they exhale, they release the lingering tensions, inviting warmth and ease into their body. The gentle flicker of the candlelight dances, reflecting the tranquility of the moment. Slowly, they rise from the chair, taking the time to stretch and settle their body. The evening rituals have come to an end, and with each soft movement, they prepare for the night ahead. The sword, polished and sharp, is safely stored, ready to serve again. The space around them is calm and inviting, the day's work completed with care and intention. The swordsman heads to their sleeping area, a small nook filled with soft bedding and simple comforts. They prepare for rest, allowing their body to sink into the supportive embrace of the mattress. Each detail of this space has been crafted for peace. Soft linens, a gently woven blanket, and a pillow that cradles the head just right. As they settle in, they take a moment to appreciate the stillness enveloping them. It is a time for reflection, for gratitude, and for the gentle unfolding of dreams. The cycle of practice continues, a series of small, mundane tasks woven together in the quiet tapestry of their life. Each day is a thread, each moment a stitch, creating a beautiful fabric of existence. As they close their eyes, the soft sound of their breathing fills the room. Steady and rhythmic, they let go of the day, surrendering to the gentle embrace of sleep, ready for tomorrow's adventures in the art of swordsmanship. Passe, I, itame. As dawn breaks softly over the horizon, the world outside stirs gently. The air is crisp and cool, carrying with it a promise of a new day. Within the small nook, our swordsman awakens, their body gradually rising from the restful embrace of sleep. They stretch slowly, allowing their muscles to unfurl, taking care to savor the sensation of each gentle movement. The morning routine begins, as it always does, with the careful unrolling of the simple blanket. Each fold is taken with intention, laid down upon the bed with a soft rustle. The linen is worn, yet comforting, having seen many such mornings. They take a moment to smooth out the bedding, ensuring a tidy space that reflects the calm they seek to cultivate. Next, the swordsman rises and steps into leather slippers, the soles of which are worn but still sturdy. With each step, they feel the coolness of the floor beneath their feet, grounding them in the moment. Their first task is to tend to the sword, the blade that represents both challenge and companionship in their life. Carefully, they approach the corner where the sword is stored. The location is intentional, close enough to feel familiar, yet distant enough to allow for reflection before practice. The sword rests in a simple wooden rack, crafted with care from sturdy oak. Each notch in the wood is precisely carved to hold the weapon securely, preventing it from slipping, even in the most chaotic of moments. They lift the sword gently, cradling its hilt with reverence. The steel reflects the first rays of sunlight, shimmering softly. Our swordsman moves to the work table, a surface cluttered with the tools of their craft. Here, they will begin the ritual of maintenance. A whetstone sits beside a small container of oil, both essential for keeping the blade in optimal condition. They pour a few drops of oil onto the stone, noting the way the liquid glistens in the light. With deliberate motions, they begin to hone the edge, sliding the blade against the stone in a smooth, continuous rhythm. Each stroke is measured and mindful, taking care to maintain the angle of the blade at precisely 20 degrees. This angle is vital, as it ensures a fine edge capable of slicing through the air with finesse. As they work, they take a moment to breathe deeply, inhaling the scent of the oil mixed with the crisp morning air. This small ritual calms their mind, grounding them in the present moment. Once satisfied with the edge, they wipe the blade clean with a soft cloth, taking care to remove any residue. The sword is now ready, prepared for the practice that lies ahead. With a final glance at the glinting blade, they set it down upon the table and begin to gather their training gear. A simple linen tunic, woven from light fabric, is their choice for the day. It allows for ease of movement, the fabric flowing softly against their skin. As they pull it over their head, they feel the comforting weight of the garment. Next, they fasten a leather belt around their waist, designed to hold their sword securely during practice. The belt is sturdy, reinforcing the importance of form and discipline during training. They spend a moment adjusting it, ensuring it fits snugly, yet comfortably. A well-fitted belt is essential, as it prevents any distractions that could arise from an ill-secured sword. With their attire in place, they head back to the work table, where a small pouch lies. Inside this pouch are various tools essential for a left-handed swordsman. There are 2 sets of training gloves, one made of soft leather, ideal for practice, and another crafted from a heavier material, meant for sparring. The left-handed gloves are slightly different from the right-handed variety. They are tailored to accommodate the unique grip and posture of a left-handed fighter. Carefully, they choose the lighter pair, sliding them onto their hands. The snug fit offers a sense of security, enhancing their confidence in each movement. Next, they retrieve a small wooden practice sword, a lightweight replica of their main weapon. This training tool is important, as it allows them to practice the intricacies of their technique without the weight of the steel. The wooden sword is polished and smooth, its dimensions mirroring that of the real sword. It measures about 35 inches in length, a comfortable size for maneuverability and practice. Now fully equipped, our swordsman steps outside into the soft morning light. The air feels fresh against their skin, invigorating yet soothing. They find a small patch of grass, a well-chosen spot to begin their practice. The grass is cool beneath their feet, a gentle cushion as they prepare to hone their skills. They begin with the fundamentals, repeating the same basic movements that have been practiced for years. Slowly and gently, they go through the motions. The wooden sword glides smoothly through the air, tracing arcs and circles as they practice the footwork essential for a left-handed swordsman. Each step is intentional, marked by the importance of balance and precision. They take care to maintain an appropriate distance from the imagined opponent, mindful of how their movements can create space in each encounter. The practice is methodical, and as they step forward, they feel the rhythm of the routine, calming and grounding. The sun climbs higher in the sky, casting long shadows on the grass. Time seems to stretch, each moment filled with the gentle dance of practice. As they immerse themselves in the movements, they begin to explore the nuances of their left-handed techniques. Each swing is a conversation with the air, an expression of intention and control. The training continues, a process of repetition and refinement. They pay careful attention to their grip, how the wooden sword fits comfortably within their left hand, allowing for fluid motions. The right hand remains free, guiding and adjusting as needed. They practice various stances, moving from one to another with a soft grace. The transitions are smooth, reflecting the harmony they seek in their practice. The left-handed stance is distinct, requiring a unique approach to balance and power. They explore this further, feeling the subtle shifts in their body as they adapt to the movements. After a time, they pause, allowing their body to rest for a moment. The world around them is peaceful, filled only with the sounds of nature. They take a deep breath, inhaling the fresh air, appreciating the stillness that envelops their surroundings. As they settle back into practice, they contemplate the importance of etiquette within the realm of sword fighting. The unwritten rules that guide interactions between left-handed and right-handed peers are both fascinating and essential. In their training community, there is a shared understanding, a mutual respect for the differences in style and approach. Left-handed fighters must often navigate the complexities of engaging with right-handed counterparts. Each encounter is approached with care, an adherence to the regulations that help maintain a sense of harmony. As the practice continues, they reflect on the importance of these regulations, how they serve to create a safe and respectful environment. The gentle exchange of techniques, the slow adaptation of movements, all contribute to a deeper understanding of the art. And so, the day unfolds, filled with the soothing rhythm of practice, the soft dance of a left-handed swordsman immersed in their craft. Each moment is a step further along the path of mastery, a journey marked by quiet determination and gentle resolve. The art of swordsmanship continues to weave itself into the fabric of their life, one day at a time. Mount High me. As the day wears on, the left-handed swordsman prepares for the next round of practice. They gather their tools, taking care to select the right blade for the day's training. The sword, a slender piece of tempered steel, gleams softly in the fading light. It is balanced just so, with a hilt that fits comfortably in their left hand, designed specifically for the unique grip of a left-handed fighter. They run their fingers along the smooth surface of the blade, ensuring it is clean and free of any residue from previous practice sessions. The sound of steel against leather fills the air as they carefully sheath the sword, mindful of the precise movements required to avoid awkward encounters with their right-handed peers. Next, they turn to the practice space, a designated area where left-handed and right-handed fighters can train. This space is marked by a simple, yet effective system of boundaries. A soft chalk line stretches across the ground, indicating where a left-handed fighter should stand. It is a reminder of the importance of maintaining a respectful distance. The left-handed swordsman glances at the wooden practice dummies positioned strategically around the area. Each dummy is designed to simulate an opponent, with arms raised and legs poised as if ready to engage. The dummies are constructed from sturdy timber, wrapped in layers of cloth to soften the impact of strikes. They have stood in this space for many seasons, absorbing countless blows while remaining steadfast. Before beginning their drills, the swordsman checks their attire. They wear a simple tunic made from durable fabric, dyed a muted shade of green. The tunic is designed for ease of movement, allowing for fluid motions during practice. Comfortable trousers accompany the tunic, tucked neatly into soft leather boots that provide support without hindrance. The boots are well worn, molded to the shape of their feet, offering both comfort and protection. With their preparations complete, the swordsman takes a moment to breathe deeply, allowing their mind to settle into the rhythm of practice. They recall the importance of warming up before engaging in any drills. This warm-up routine is methodical and measured, incorporating gentle stretches and slow movements. Each stretch is held for several moments, allowing the muscles to awaken gradually, reducing the risk of strain. They begin with the shoulders, rolling them backward in a slow, deliberate motion. The soothing sensation of loosening joints accompanies each careful movement. Then, they extend their arms, reaching out to the sides, feeling the stretch across their chests. Gradually, they bend and twist, moving through their spine with gentle care. Each motion is accompanied by a soft mantra, a repetition of the movements, a calming rhythm that soothes the body and mind. Once sufficiently warmed, the swordsman approaches the practice dummies. They select a specific drill designed to enhance their footwork. This particular exercise involves a series of steps, each meticulously crafted to improve balance and agility. They begin by stepping forward with the left foot, a deliberate motion, followed by a slight pivot to the right, allowing the body to rotate fluidly. As they practice, they visualize their movements, focusing on the line of their body, the angle of their sword, and the response of the dummy. Each thrust and parry is executed with precision, a gentle dance of practice that unfolds in slow motion. The repetitions build upon one another, creating a comforting rhythm. The swordsman pauses after several iterations, assessing their form. They take a moment to breathe, noticing the subtle nuances of their body. The weight of the sword feels familiar, a comforting presence in their hand. They reflect on the importance of this moment. The act of sword fighting is not merely about technique, but about the connection between body and mind. After this assessment, they transition to the next drill, one involving a series of defensive maneuvers. This sequence requires the swordsman to anticipate the movements of an imaginary right-handed opponent. They practice stepping offline, creating a safe distance while pivoting the body away from the center line. With each practice session, they become increasingly aware of the spatial dynamics at play. The movements are interwoven, a gentle tapestry of form and intention. The left-handed swordsman learns to flow into each action, executing parries and counters with grace. The dummy stands patiently, receiving each strike with unwavering resolve. As the sun begins to dip below the horizon, casting soft shadows across the training area, the swordsman takes a moment to gather their thoughts. They consider the time spent honing their craft, the quiet dedication that fills each day. The practice is a journey, a steady progression of small victories, each one building upon the last. With renewed focus, they shift to the next part of their training, sword drills that incorporate foot speed and agility. They set a timer for 10 minutes, a small but firm commitment to their practice. Each movement is timed, a gentle reminder to maintain both speed and control. They begin with basic cuts, slicing through the air with precision. Each cut is followed by a swift repositioning of the feet, first to the left, then to the right, a gentle shuffle that marks their careful adjustments. They can feel the rhythm of their breath, synchronize with the tempo of their movements, creating a soothing pattern. With each passing moment, they visualize the flow of energy, the balance between movement and stillness. The sword arcs gracefully through the air, the blade reflecting the last rays of sunlight. They remind themselves to breathe, steadying their focus, allowing the sensations of practice to wash over them. The timer ticks softly in the background, a gentle reminder of their commitment. They take a brief pause, reflecting on the importance of hydration. Nearby, a small clay jug holds fresh water, cool and inviting. They sip from it slowly, allowing the coolness to refresh their senses. As they return to their practice, the swordsman thinks of the camaraderie shared among left-handed fighters. The bonds forged through mutual understanding and respect allow for a flourishing community. The gentle exchange of techniques, the shared laughter at the occasional mishap, all of it contributes to the warmth of their training environment. In this quiet space, as the day comes to a close, the swordsman continues to practice, each movement a testament to their dedication. The soft sounds of fabric against skin, the whisper of steel meeting air, all blend together in a comforting symphony of training. Little by little, they immerse themselves in the rhythm, allowing the practice to envelop them like a warm blanket, each moment a step further on their path. And so, they continue, practicing their craft with unwavering focus, each repetition a gentle reminder of their purpose, a soothing ritual in the art of swordsmanship. As dusk settles around them, the peaceful ambience of the practice space becomes a sanctuary, cradling their journey, one small step at a time. Daisy. One. Oh, wow. As the evening light begins to soften, the swordsman takes a moment to reflect on the tools of their trade. The sword, a graceful extension of the arm, is crafted with care. Each blade, meticulously forged from high carbon steel, possesses its own unique qualities. The length of the blade often measures between 30 and 36 inches, a range that allows for both balance and agility. The hilt, wrapped in leather for comfort, provides a firm grip. On closer inspection, one can see the careful stitching, each loop holding the promise of countless hours of training. The swordsman knows that maintaining their weapon is essential. They take time to clean the blade after each practice session. A soft cloth, perhaps made from linen, is used to wipe away any moisture, ensuring that the steel remains free of rust. The swordsman heaps a small container of oil, a mixture of linseed oil and mineral spirits, nearby. This oil helps to preserve the blade, keeping it in prime condition for the next practice. As they prepare for practice, the swordsman checks their storage area, a simple wooden chest crafted from oak. Inside, there rests not only the sword, but also a collection of tools. There is a whetstone, worn smooth from countless sharpenings, and a wooden mallet used to adjust the fittings of the hilt. Everything has its place, everything in order. In this quiet space, the swordsman follows an established routine. Each practice session begins at the same time, just as the sun begins to dip below the horizon. The schedule is consistent, allowing for a rhythm to develop. The swordsman stretches gently, allowing the muscles to relax and prepare for the movements to come. Each stretch is deliberate, held for several breaths, allowing the body to awaken. Once the stretching is complete, the swordsman retrieves their sword from its resting place. The weight of it feels like an old friend, familiar and comforting. The blade, glinting softly in the dwindling light, is held with both hands, the hilt resting comfortably against the palm. Next, the swordsman moves to the practice area, a designated space marked by worn mats. The softness of the mats cushions each step, a gentle reminder to remain grounded. The space is quiet, save for the sound of the sword slicing through the air as the swordsman begins their first sequence of movements. The practice consists of a series of drills specifically tailored for left-handed fighters. Each drill focuses on precision and fluidity. The swordsman moves from one position to another, visualizing an opponent across from them. Each movement is slow and deliberate, allowing time to consider the angles and the strategies that come into play. For the first drill, the swordsman practices the overhead strike. The blade arcs gracefully through the air, cutting downwards with purpose. The motion is repeated over and over again, the rhythm becoming meditative. Slowly and gently, the swordsman incorporates footwork, taking small steps to the left, ensuring that their stance remains stable. Next comes the thrust. The sword is extended forward, the tip aiming directly at an imagined target. This requires focus, as the swordsman must be careful to maintain a straight line. Again, the motion is repeated, honing muscle memory, reinforcing the basic techniques. Each thrust is followed by a gentle withdrawal, allowing the body to reset, to breathe, and to prepare for the next move. As the practice progresses, the swordsman becomes aware of the importance of etiquette among fellow practitioners. There is a quiet understanding that governs the practice space. Each fighter respects the other's training, ensuring that movements do not encroach upon one another's space. This unspoken rule fosters a sense of safety and camaraderie, allowing for growth without the fear of disruption. I know. The swordsman recalls the advice of an experienced mentor, who often said that a calm spirit is essential in practice. They strive to embody this wisdom. Each movement is executed with a sense of grace, mindful of their surroundings. The gentle sound of the sword being drawn and sheathed becomes a comforting backdrop to their focus. After several rounds of drills, the swordsman pauses to take a sip of water. A simple clay cup rests nearby, filled with cool water. The act of hydrating is a small, vital part of maintaining energy during practice. The coolness is refreshing, a small reprieve before continuing. With renewed focus, the swordsman shifts gears to practice defensive maneuvers. The left-handed fighter often finds themselves at a disadvantage, and so it becomes essential to master the art of defense. The swordsman visualizes different scenarios, imagining a right-handed opponent. The movements are fluid, practiced over many evenings. They practice the parry, a gentle deflection of an imagined strike. The sword moves up and aside, redirecting the momentum. The swordsman reminds themselves to breathe, to remain calm, to trust their instincts. Each parry leads seamlessly into a counterattack, a graceful flow from defense to offense, practiced countless times before. As the evening deepens, the swordsman transitions to footwork drills. These drills are essential, as left-handed fighters must navigate their positioning carefully. The swordsman practices moving in circles, stepping back and forth, weaving through the space. Each step is intentional, ensuring that they maintain balance and control. The echoes of their footfalls are soft against the mat, a rhythmic sound that accompanies their movements. The swordsman envisions the layout of the practice area, mapping out their steps in a gentle mental blueprint. They consider the dimensions of the space, approximately 20 feet by 10 feet, allowing for ample movement without feeling confined. In this practice, there is a focus on awareness. The swordsman reflects on their surroundings, the feel of the cool air, the gentle light fading around them. This awareness translates into a feeling of peace, a connection to the space they inhabit. With each passing moment, the swordsman finds comfort in routine. The repetition of movements, the sound of the sword, and the rhythm of their breath create a calming atmosphere. They become absorbed in the practice, each step leading them deeper into a meditative state. As the final moments of practice approach, the swordsman takes a moment to cool down. A series of gentle stretches allows them to release any tension built throughout the session. Each stretch is deliberate, held for a count of 5 breaths, allowing the body to relax and recover. Slowly and gently, they unwind, feeling the warmth spread through their limbs. With the practice complete, the swordsman reflects on the journey thus far. The simple act of wielding a sword, of engaging in left-handed techniques, becomes a serene ritual. Each movement, each repetition, brings them closer to mastery, and with that mastery comes a sense of tranquility. Say, the swordsman carefully places their sword back into its resting spot. The gentle thud of steel against wood, a soft reminder of the evening's labor. They take a moment to appreciate the stillness of the space, the quietude enveloping them like a soft blanket. And so, the evening draws to a close, each detail of the practice etched into their memory, a comforting routine to carry into tomorrow. They breathe deeply, allowing the calmness of the moment to wash over them, one small step at a time. Behold. Whoa. In the quietude of the training hall, the swordsman begins to prepare for the next day's practice. A simple wooden table stands against the wall, its surface smooth and polished from years of use. Upon this table, they lay out their tools with care. A leather pouch, slightly worn yet sturdy, holds a selection of small items essential for the maintenance of their sword. Within this pouch, there are several strips of oiled cloth, meticulously cut to measure, each precisely 6 inches by 2 inches. The oiled cloth is used to wipe the blade clean, preserving the steel's shine and preventing rust. Next to the pouch lies a small jar of grease made from a blend of animal fat and beeswax. This jar, with its rustic lid, is opened carefully, revealing a rich, golden substance inside. The swordsman scoops a small amount with a wooden stick, which is also kept on the table. The stick is about 10 inches long, its surface smooth and splinter-free, designed for easy application of grease to the hilt and guard. As they prepare, the swordsman reflects on the etiquette involved in handling one's sword. Proper care is a sign of respect, both for the weapon and for those who share the practice space. Each member of the training group is expected to keep their own equipment tidy, fostering a sense of community and shared purpose. The swordsman recalls how, during their first weeks of training, they were taught the importance of this ritual. Initial attempts at cleaning and maintaining the sword were met with gentle guidance from seasoned practitioners who emphasized that every detail matters, no matter how small. The swordsman examines their blade, feeling the weight of it in their hand. The sword itself is approximately 32 inches in length, its blade a graceful arc tapering to a fine point. The steel is tempered just so, allowing for both flexibility and strength. The hilt, wrapped in dark leather, offers a comfortable grip, fitting snugly within the swordsman's palm. They move to the wall where a series of racks hold various swords, each labeled with the name of its owner in simple, elegant script. These labels are crafted from thin, light wood, each one a small rectangle measuring 3 inches by 1 inch. The swordsman knows that each sword represents not just a personal journey, but a shared connection among their peers. The exchange of techniques, the silent understanding of each other's struggles, creates an invisible bond. To further enhance their practice routine, the swordsman incorporates a schedule, a visual guide that hangs beside the table. This schedule is neatly organized, the days of the week clearly marked. Each section outlines specific focus areas: footwork on Mondays, left-handed techniques on Tuesdays, and sparring sessions on Wednesdays. Each of these practice days is allocated a 2-hour time frame, beginning promptly at dusk, when the sun begins to fade behind the horizon, casting a soft golden hue throughout the whole. Slowly, the swordsman begins to visualize their movements for the following day. They imagine stepping onto the training floor, feeling the coolness of the wooden planks beneath their feet. A deep breath fills their lungs, the air rich with the scent of aged wood and oiled steel. The routine begins with a warm-up, consisting of gentle stretches that open the body and prepare it for movement. These stretches, lasting about 15 minutes, include reaching high overhead, bending side to side, and gentle twists to loosen the spine. After warming up, the swordsman knows they will spend the next 20 minutes focusing on footwork. The floor is marked with chalk lines, creating a simple grid that guides each movement. Each step taken during this time is deliberate and precise. They recall the importance of maintaining a low center of gravity, ensuring balance with every shift of weight. Next, they will dedicate 30 minutes to practicing left-handed techniques. The swordsman envisions themselves drawing the sword smoothly from its sheath, the motion fluid and graceful. They will practice basic strikes, ensuring that each cut is executed with intention. The swordsman knows that repetition builds muscle memory, so they will focus on their form, each swing measured and controlled. Once the left-handed techniques are complete, they will shift to sparring with the partner, another practitioner who has also dedicated time to mastering similar skills. This part of practice is vital, as it allows them to apply their techniques in a dynamic environment. The swordsman recalls the gentle encouragement they receive from their partner, allowing for mistakes and learning moments. Even the awkward moments, those fumbles and slips, become teachable instances, opportunities to understand the nuances of movement. As their thoughts drift through the details of the next day, the swordsman considers the importance of hydration. A small clay jug rests on the table, filled with cool, clear water. It is a simple vessel, unadorned yet functional. They will ensure to take small sips during practice, keeping their body refreshed. This jug holds enough water for several sessions, and a small wooden cup sits beside it, ready for use. The swordsman takes a moment to appreciate the simple act of drinking water, the coolness gliding down their throat, refreshing and soothing. Each sip allows them to feel grounded, connected to the present moment. They know that hydration aids in maintaining focus, ensuring that they can engage fully in each practice session. Now, as the evening draws nearer, the swordsman considers the importance of rest. They have learned that rest is not merely cessation of activity. It is an integral part of their training. Each night, after the practice, they will review the day's movements in their mind, visualizing each strike, each stance. This reflection time will last for about 10 minutes, allowing them to process and absorb all they have learned. With their preparations complete, the swordsman takes a final glance around the training hall. The space feels tranquil, filled with the lingering echoes of practice. The soft light from the oil lamps casts warm shadows on the walls, creating a serene atmosphere. As they prepare to leave, the swordsman reminds themselves of the importance of gratitude. Gratitude for the time spent practicing, for the lessons learned, and for the community that supports them. It is a gentle reminder that each moment, no matter how mundane, is filled with potential for growth. And so, they close the door behind them, the soft click, a quiet farewell to the day's reflections. Tomorrow will bring new opportunities, new movements to master, and every detail will matter. Little by little, slowly and gently, as they continue on their path, one practice at a time. As the swordsman steps into the cool evening air, they carry with them not just their sword, but an assortment of tools that are essential for their practice. The sword itself, a finely balanced weapon, is sheathed in a worn leather scabbard, its weight familiar and comforting. Alongside it, they hold a simple cloth bag, hand-stitched and sturdy, which contains the few essentials needed for daily training. Inside this bag, there are several small items, all carefully chosen for their utility. A small whetstone rests snugly in one corner. This stone, about the size of a palm, is essential for maintaining the sharp edge of the sword. The swordsman knows they must take time each evening to hone the blade, to keep it ready for both practice and potential use. The act of sharpening is methodical, requiring concentration and care, as the blade must be drawn smoothly across the stone, ensuring that the angle remains consistent. Next, there are some strips of cloth, soft and pliable, used for wrapping the sword's hilt. These strips provide a better grip and comfort during long hours of practice. The cloth, usually linen, is chosen for its durability and ability to absorb sweat. The swordsman prefers to change these wrappings frequently, favoring a fresh cloth that feels smooth against their hands. The routine is simple. They first unwind the old, worn cloth, taking care not to irritate their skin, and then they measure out an appropriate length of new cloth, usually around 2 feet, allowing ample coverage for the hilt. In addition to these tools, the swordsman also carries a small, well-crafted notebook. This notebook is bound in leather, with pages made of thick parchment. Here, they will jot down notes regarding their practice sessions. The notes may include reflections on techniques, adjustments to footwork, and reminders about particular stances. Each entry is dated, creating a chronological record of their progress. It is an invaluable resource, a tangible reflection of their journey, small but significant. As they walk home, the swordsman reflects on the importance of routine in their training. Each day follows a gentle rhythm, a sequence of movements, tasks, and reflections. Upon arriving home, the first task is to set down their bag and sword in a designated spot. This spot is a small wooden shelf, crafted by their own hands. The shelf, placed near the hearth, is an intentional choice, as it keeps the sword close but safe. Every evening, as the sun dips below the horizon, the swordsman lights a small fire in the hearth. The gentle crackle of the flames creates a soothing background, perfect for quiet reflection. They take a moment to appreciate the warmth, to feel the soft glow on their face. It is a time for settling in, for transitioning from the day's practice to a peaceful evening. After lighting the fire, the swordsman retrieves a small bowl from the shelf. This bowl is made of clay, simple in design, yet it holds deep significance. It is used to hold the remnants of their practice. Often, these remnants are small pieces of wax used for sealing letters or marking important notes. They take a moment to melt the wax over the fire, watching as it transforms from solid to liquid, a slow and gentle process. With the wax melted, the swordsman uses a quill, carefully dipping it into the warm substance. They will write letters of thanks to their instructors, expressing gratitude for the guidance received during training. Each letter is crafted with care, as they feel the weight of the words they put to paper. Writing becomes a meditation, a moment to reflect on the lessons learned, the friendships forged. After writing, they set the letters aside to cool. As they do so, the swordsman prepares a simple meal, often consisting of bread and cheese, perhaps some seasonal fruits. The kitchen is a small, quiet space, filled with the aroma of fresh ingredients. They slice the bread with a small, sharp knife, its blade glinting softly in the firelight. The act of cutting, of preparing, feels deliberate and calming. Once the meal is ready, the swordsman takes a few moments to savor each bite, feeling the texture of the bread and the creamy richness of the cheese. This is a time to nourish the body, a reminder of the importance of care. After the meal, they clean the dishes, taking the time to rinse each piece before setting it aside to dry. With evening winding down, the swordsman returns to their notebook. They review their notes from the day's practice, noting areas of improvement as well as successes. It is a gentle assessment, a way to track progress without pressure. Each entry is a step on the journey, and they find comfort in this gradual unfolding. As the night deepens, the swordsman takes a moment to prepare for sleep. They set out their clothing for the next day, a simple tunic and trousers, carefully folding each piece. This ritual, while mundane, is grounding. It ensures that the morning will begin smoothly, with no scrambling or confusion. Before settling into bed, they take one last look at their sword, resting in its place on the shelf. There is a sense of calm in knowing that it is ready for tomorrow's practice. The soft flicker of the fire casts dancing shadows, creating a peaceful ambience. The swordsman then lowers themselves onto the bed, feeling the gentle embrace of the blankets. As they lay there, they allow their thoughts to drift back to the day's training. Each movement, each strike, each adjustment becomes a soft echo in their mind. Wah. Dear line, little by little, slowly and gently, they breathe in and out, feeling the rhythm of their breath synchronize with the quiet of the night. Tomorrow will be another day, filled with practice, filled with learning. Each moment, each detail is part of a larger journey, one that unfolds gradually, one step at a time. And with that thought, the swordsman closes their eyes, letting the day's reflections settle softly into the folds of sleep. Inwen, Damawin, Aninawen. Inashois, obey, and ye, easier to that. As dawn begins to peek through the window, the swordsman stirs from their slumber. The world outside is still quiet, the sounds of morning yet to arrive. Slowly and gently, they rise, feeling the coolness of the air against their skin. It is time to prepare for the day ahead. The first action of the morning is to attend to the sword. It rests in its assigned corner, on a simple wooden shelf, crafted carefully to hold its weight. The swordsman approaches, taking a moment to appreciate the craftsmanship of the weapon. The hilt, wrapped in leather, offers a comfortable grip, while the blade, polished to a gleaming shine, reflects the soft light of the morning. They reach out, fingers brushing over the cool metal. This touch is familiar, a daily routine that brings comfort. The swordsman retrieves a soft cloth from a nearby shelf, its texture worn but effective. With gentle strokes, they begin to clean the blade, wiping away any dust or residue from the day before. This process is methodical, each stroke deliberate. They start at the hilt and work their way down, ensuring that every inch is attended to. The sword, in a sense, is a companion. It deserves care and respect. Little by little, slowly and gently, they polish the metal until it gleams once more, ready for practice. Once the sword is tended to, it is time to prepare for breakfast. The swordsman moves to the small hearth, where a fire will soon be kindled. The fireplace has a simple iron grate, sturdy and reliable. They gather kindling, small twigs and dried leaves, placing them carefully in the center of the hearth. Next comes the larger logs, each selected with care. They are uniform in size, approximately 2 feet long, and should fit snugly within the hearth. The swordsman arranges the logs in a pyramid shape, allowing space for air to circulate. This is essential for a good flame. Taking a moment to step back, they observe their work. The arrangement appears inviting, a small promise of warmth as the fire begins to catch. With a flint and steel, they strike a spark, watching as it dances briefly before catching on the kindling. Slowly and gently, the fire begins to crackle and pop, flames licking upwards. While the fire grows, the swordsman attends to their meal. A simple breakfast of porridge is the plan for the morning. They measure out a cup of oats, noticing the grains are coarse and hearty. This quantity is perfect for sustaining energy throughout practice. The oats are combined with water, a ratio of 2 parts water to 1 part oats. This ensures a creamy consistency, neither too thick nor too runny. They pour the mixture into a small pot, setting it carefully over the flames. As the pot heats, they stir occasionally, feeling the mixture thicken, the aroma of oats filling the air. Preparing breakfast is a quiet ritual, one that centers the swordsman before the day begins. They take a moment to breathe deeply, inhaling the warmth of the fire and the comforting scent of cooking oats. It is a grounding experience, a reminder of the simple pleasures in life. No. Once the porridge is ready, they ladle it into a wooden bowl, its surface smooth and polished from years of use. On the table sits a small pot of honey, a sweet addition to the meal. They drizzle a spoonful over the warm oats, allowing it to melt into the mixture. This touch of sweetness balances the earthiness of the porridge, creating a nourishing start to the day. Peace. Sitting down at the table, the swordsman takes a moment to appreciate the meal. They savor each bite slowly, chewing thoughtfully. The warmth spreads within, a comfort against the morning chill. Little by little, slowly and gently, they enjoy their breakfast, feeling the energy build for the day ahead. After breakfast, it is time for practice. The swordsman stands, wiping their hands on a cloth before reaching for the sword once more. They gather their practice gear, a simple padded jacket designed to soften the impact of strikes, and leather gloves, which provide protection while allowing for movement. Dressed now for practice, they step outside into the cool morning air. The training area is a modest space, marked off with simple wooden stakes and ropes. It is a quiet corner of the yard, free from distractions. They take a moment to survey the area, ensuring it is clean and clear, free of debris or obstacles that could interfere with practice. The practice routine is well established. First, they perform a series of warm-up exercises to loosen the body. Each movement is intentional, stretching arms, bending at the waist, gently rotating the wrists. This part of the routine is crucial, as it prepares the body for the physical demands of sword practice. Timing is important. Each exercise lasts approximately 5 minutes, allowing the body to warm gradually. The swordsman breathes in time with their movements, feeling the muscles loosen and stretch. Little by little, slowly and gently, they become attuned to their body, ready to engage with the sword. Next comes the focus on footwork. For a left-handed swordsman, this is particularly important. The routine involves stepping forward, backward, and side to side, ensuring that each movement is fluid and natural. They practice advancing with the left foot, positioning the right foot behind for balance. The markings on the ground serve as a guide. The swordsman imagines a square, each corner representing a different stance. They move from corner to corner, ensuring that their footwork remains precise. This attention to detail is vital, as it allows for quicker responses during practice. As they engage in footwork drills, they frequently check their surroundings. Right-handed peers can sometimes inadvertently cause conflicts during practice. Being left-handed means adjusting to the movements of others, ensuring that they do not interfere or become entangled in a partner's strike. This requires constant awareness and adaptability. Once footwork is solidified, the swordsman transitions to blade drills. They practice a series of strikes against an imaginary opponent, focusing on form and control. Each strike is deliberate, emphasizing the importance of maintaining balance and precision. They visualize the movements as they practice, allowing the sword to flow through the air. Little by little, slowly and gently, they refine their technique, ensuring that every motion feels natural and fluid. Moments shall say, Yanni is free. Here go. With the morning stretching on, the swordsman takes a moment to pause, feeling a sense of satisfaction. Each element of practice builds upon the last, creating a tapestry of skill and knowledge. There is comfort in the routine, grounding them in the present moment. In this serene atmosphere, they reflect on the importance of patience. Learning to wield the sword as a left-handed practitioner requires time and dedication. Each small improvement is a step forward, a building block for future mastery. And with that thought, they lean against a nearby post, taking a breath. The air is fresh, filled with the scent of earth and greenery. It is a peaceful moment, a reminder of the simple joy found in practice. Ah, una, e. As the morning sun casts gentle rays upon the cobblestone path, the left-handed swordsman begins to gather their tools. Each item holds significance, a vital part of the practice routine. They start with the sword itself, a carefully crafted blade forged from high-carbon steel. This steel, known for its resilience, measures approximately 32 inches in length. The grip, wrapped in a soft leather binding, provides comfort during extended practice sessions. With the sword in hand, they take a moment to assess their surroundings. The training area is quaint, bordered by a low wooden fence. Nearby, a simple wooden rack holds an array of practice swords, each one slightly different in weight and balance. These practice swords are often made of lighter materials, such as wood or aluminum, allowing for safer training. Each sword is marked with a small tag indicating its weight, typically ranging from 1 to 3 pounds. They take a breath, inhaling deeply as they choose a lighter practice sword for the day. The decision is deliberate, based on the day's focus. Today, emphasis will be placed on footwork and positioning. They remind themselves little by little, slowly and gently, to keep their movements fluid and relaxed. Before beginning practice, the swordsman stretches their arms and legs. They reach towards the sky, feeling the gentle pull of gravity. Each stretch is a measured act, lasting around 15 seconds per side. They focus on the shoulders, gently rolling them backward and forward, ensuring they are loose and ready for the day's drills. Next, the swordsman sets a timer. A simple hourglass sits on a nearby table, its grains of sand trickling down in a rhythmic dance. Each hourglass is filled with fine white sand, and this particular one is designed to measure 30 minutes of practice time. The act of flipping the hourglass is a ritual in itself, marking the beginning of focused training. As the sands begin to flow, the swordsman positions themselves in a designated training stance. This stance is crucial, providing stability and balance. They place their feet shoulder-width apart, with their left foot slightly forward. This placement allows them to pivot and turn with ease. It's essential to note that every movement is intentional. The swordsman grips the practice sword with their left hand, feeling the weight and balance. The right hand remains relaxed at their side, an embodiment of the left-handed focus. They begin with a series of basic footwork drills, stepping forward and backward, side to side. Each step is precise, measuring about 2 feet in length. They count slowly in their mind, 1 step, 2 steps, 3 steps, and so on, until they have completed 10 repetitions in each direction. These footwork exercises are not merely about movement. They are about understanding spatial awareness. The swordsman visualizes an imaginary opponent, considering the angles and distances. Each movement reinforces the connection between mind and body, making the practice feel natural. After completing the footwork drills, the swordsman pauses to take a sip of water. A simple wooden cup, filled with cool, clear water, sits nearby. Hydration is essential for maintaining focus and stamina throughout practice. They savor the refreshing taste, allowing the water to clear their mind before returning to their sword drills. The next phase of practice involves the execution of strikes. With the practice sword in hand, they take a stance once more, preparing for a sequence of cuts. Each cut is named, with names derived from historical techniques. The first is the overhead strike. The swordsman raises the sword above their head, letting it rest momentarily, feeling the weight. They inhale deeply, and then, in one fluid motion, they bring the sword down in a controlled arc. Ah! The strike lands with a soft thud against a hanging target, a simple burlap sack filled with straw dachi. This target is hung at a height of about 4 feet, allowing for a comfortable angle for the left-handed swordsman. The act of striking is not merely physical, but also mental, requiring visualization and focus. They repeat this overhead strike 10 times, counting softly to themselves. 1, 2, 3, slowly and gently. In Gimamora, Kesdi. As they continue through the sequence of strikes, they transition to the thrust. This involves lunging forward, extending the sword straight ahead. The swordsman measures the distance carefully, ensuring that their footing remains stable. The thrust is a powerful movement requiring precision. They practice it 10 times as well, each thrust accompanied by a deep exhalation. After completing the series of strikes, the swordsman pauses once again. They take a moment to reflect on the practice thus far. Each element builds upon the last, creating a foundation for skill and technique. The gentle rhythm of practice is comforting, creating a sense of peace. Next, the swordsman prepares for sparring practice, a vital part of their training. While most sparring occurs with a partner, today they will practice solo against the target. They visualize a right-handed opponent, imagining the movements and strikes they would encounter. This visualization allows them to adjust their technique, ensuring they can defend and counter effectively. They stand before the target once more, ready to engage. The first movement is a defensive posture, lifting the sword to protect their left side. It is essential to remember the positioning. As a left-handed swordsman, they must be aware of the angles of attack they might face. Each strike they practice is deliberate, allowing them to explore the nuances of left-handed combat. The sparring practice consists of a series of movements, blocks, counters, and strikes, each flowing into the next. They repeat this sequence, feeling the rhythm of the blade in their hands. As they practice, they count softly, grounding themselves in the moment. 1, 2, 3. Each round of sparring lasts about 10 minutes, followed by a brief rest. The swordsman takes this time to breathe and reflect, allowing their heart rate to settle. The rest period is filled with quiet contemplation and appreciation for the practice itself. The act of training becomes a meditative experience, connecting them to the rhythm of their breath and the movement of their body. After the rest, the swordsman engages in a final set of drills, focusing on transitions between movements. This involves practicing the flow from one strike to another, ensuring that each movement feels fluid and connected. They repeat each transition multiple times, allowing their body to memorize the motions. Little by little, slowly and gently, each transition becomes more natural. As the practice session draws to a close, the left-handed swordsman reflects on the routine they have established. Each element, from the choice of tools to the gentle movements, forms a cohesive structure. The practice is not merely about the sword, it is about the time spent in reflection, the patience fostered through repetition, and the joy found in the mundane. With a final deep breath, they set the practice sword down gently on the rack, feeling a sense of fulfillment wash over them. The practice may seem simple, yet it holds profound meaning, a testament to the dedication of a left-handed swordsman navigating a world designed for right-handed peers. Gently, as the left-handed swordsman finishes their practice, they begin to tidy their space with a deliberate and methodical approach. The training area, often a modest corner of a larger hall or an open courtyard, may be adorned with wooden beams and worn stone walls, each feature whispering tales of countless hours spent honing skills. The swordsman first retrieves the practice sword, a simple yet elegantly crafted piece made of a durable wood, possibly ash or hickory, known for its balance and resilience. The blade, while not sharp, still possesses a certain weight that provides the right feel for training. It measures roughly 4 feet long, a comfortable length for practice in both offensive and defensive postures. With care, they place the sword back on its designated rack, a simple wooden structure, hand-carved, featuring spaces specifically designed to accommodate the weapon's length and weight. The rack itself stands at about waist height, allowing for easy access while ensuring the blade is stored safely and securely. Next, the swordsman tends to their training attire. The clothing, often made of sturdy linen or a blend of wool, is designed to withstand the rigors of training. It consists of a tunic that reaches the knees and trousers that provide freedom of movement. The left sleeve of the tunic, slightly longer than the right, accommodates their dominant hand without restriction. They fold the tunic neatly, ensuring all wrinkles are smoothed out. Each fold is intentional, reflecting a sense of order and purpose in their routine. The trousers, similarly, are set aside with care, the fabric softening with each use, becoming more comfortable over time. The swordsman knows that every part of their attire has a role, not just in functionality, but in the atmosphere of their practice space. After the clothing is put away, they turn to the training area itself. A small area is designated for the swordsman's practice, often about 10 paces by 10 paces, marked by worn patches on the ground, indicating where they have spent the most time. The surface is typically compact earth or stone, providing a stable footing for each movement, and a subtle reminder of the many layers of history beneath their feet. The swordsman takes a moment to observe the area, noting the arrangement of the space. In a corner, there may be a small basket, woven from local reeds, intended for storing small tools and accessories. Inside, there might be a couple of practice daggers, short and blunt, specifically designed for close-quarter drills. Their presence serves as a reminder of the importance of versatility in training. Each dagger measures about 2 feet long, a manageable size for practice without the risk of injury. The swordsman ensures that these tools are also put away carefully, resting them gently in their designated spot within the basket. Now, it is time to consider the training schedule. The swordsman often trains at dawn, when the world is quiet and the air is fresh. This time of day, they believe, enhances focus and clarity. The training session typically lasts for 2 hours, a period that allows for warm-up, practice of specific techniques, and cool down. As the sun rises, the light gradually fills the space, casting soft shadows that dance along the walls. This gentle illumination creates a calm atmosphere, conducive to the meditative quality of their practice. Before starting, the swordsman engages in a brief ritual of preparation. They stand with feet shoulder-width apart, taking a moment to breathe deeply, inhaling through the nose and exhaling softly through the mouth. This practice of grounding connects them to the present moment, inviting a sense of tranquility. With each breath, they visualize the movements they will perform, picturing the flow of strikes and parries. This visualization is a crucial part of the process, allowing their mind to prepare while the body follows suit. Once centered, they start with warm-up exercises. These include gentle stretches to loosen the muscles, focusing on the arms, shoulders, and back. Each stretch is held for several breaths, allowing the body to slowly open up, little by little, slowly, and gently. The tension begins to dissipate. After warming up, the swordsman moves to the first exercise of the day, a series of footwork drills. These drills are essential for any swordsman, especially for left-handers, who must navigate an environment largely designed for right-handed movements. They begin with the basic step, advancing forward, placing the left foot slightly ahead. The right foot follows, maintaining balance and posture. This movement, repeated several times, becomes rhythmic, echoing the gentle cadence of breath. Next comes lateral movement, stepping to the left and then to the right, ensuring that each shift is fluid. The swordsman focuses on keeping the knees slightly bent, allowing for a center of gravity that feels stable. Practicing these movements is not merely physical. It is also a mental exercise, as the left-handed swordsman contemplates the nuances of each step. They consider how their positioning affects their ability to strike, defend, and maneuver. All these thoughts blend into a calm cadence, creating a soothing rhythm of practice. As the drills progress, the swordsman transitions into paired practice with a training partner, who is often right-handed. This partnership is crucial, as it introduces the complexities of engaging with a right-handed opponent. They engage in practice bouts, analyzing the angles and distances that arise from their different stances. Each time they engage, there is a slight adjustment to their approach, considering the dynamics of left versus right. They take turns in leading and responding, slowly learning to adapt their movements while remaining aware of their surroundings. Throughout this process, the swordsman maintains a sense of decorum, ensuring that each exchange is respectful and constructive. The emphasis is placed on improvement rather than competition. Each practice session reinforces the idea that learning is a journey, filled with incremental steps and reflections. As the session nears its end, the swordsman returns to solo practice, repeating the techniques learned during the paired exercises. They visualize their partner's movements, integrating the lessons into their own practice. The focus is on refinement, ensuring that each strike and block is executed with precision. In this quiet space, the left-handed swordsman finds peace. Surrounded by the tools of their trade and the echoes of past practices, they embrace the simplicity of their routine. Each practice holds the weight of history, the knowledge of those who came before, and the commitment of those who strive to master the art of swordsmanship. As they conclude their practice, they once again take a moment to breathe deeply, feeling the satisfaction of a session well spent. The gentle rhythm of their breath mirrors the slow and steady progress made in their training, fostering an environment of calm and reassurance. Little by little, slowly and gently, they gather their thoughts, allowing the tranquil atmosphere to envelop them, soothing the mind and nurturing the spirit. As the left-handed swordsman concludes their practice, they turn their attention to the essential tools of their craft. The sword itself, a slender blade of tempered steel, rests against a nearby wooden post. Its hilt, wrapped in soft leather, provides a comfortable grip, accommodating the unique needs of the left-handed fighter. Each element of the sword is carefully considered, from the balance of the blade to the design of the pommel, which ensures a steady hand during practice. Nearby, a collection of training equipment sits neatly arranged. Wooden sparring swords, known as wasters, are lined up in a dedicated rack, each one meticulously crafted to mimic the weight and feel of a real sword. These wasters, made from sturdy oak, are essential for practicing strikes without the risk of injury. The swordsman selects a waster, feeling its familiar weight in their hands, and takes a moment to appreciate the craftsmanship involved in its creation. Training with a waster is a ritual in itself. Each session begins with a careful inspection. The swordsman examines the blade for any signs of wear or damage. The smooth surface reflects the soft light of the practice space. After ensuring the waster is in fine condition, they move to the training area, a well-worn patch of grass, slightly uneven beneath their feet. With the waster in hand, the swordsman begins their warm-up routine. They stretch their arms, gently rotating the wrists, feeling the muscles loosen. The movements are methodical, each stretch a reminder of the importance of preparation. In their mind, they count the seconds, allowing each stretch to last a full breath. 1, 2, 3, and then another deep breath, expanding the chest, filling the lungs with fresh air. Once warmed up, the swordsman stands tall, feet shoulder-width apart, their posture reflecting the teachings of previous masters. Each position is intentional, designed to maximize balance and control. They begin with a simple horizontal cut, practicing the motion slowly and deliberately. The waster glides through the air, a seamless extension of their arm. Each swing is followed by a brief pause, allowing time to reflect on the technique. After several repetitions, the swordsman shifts to vertical cuts, moving the waster from the top of the head down through the imaginary opponent before them. The motion is smooth, and as they practice, they become increasingly aware of their footing, shifting weight from back foot to front foot, ensuring a stable stance. The ground beneath them feels firm, a solid foundation for their practice. As the session progresses, the swordsman incorporates footwork into their routine. They step forward with the left foot, following each cut with a gentle advance. Then they step back, retreating gracefully, ensuring that each movement is fluid and well-timed. The repetition fosters familiarity, each step becoming more instinctive over time. Tucked away in a corner of the practice space is a small wooden chest, a storage solution for various training aids. Inside, the swordsman finds weights, small leather pouches filled with sand. These weights, when strapped to the wrists or ankles, enhance strength and endurance during practice. The swordsman selects a pair, fastening them securely before returning to their routine. With the added weight, the cuts become more deliberate, each swing requiring a touch more energy and focus. They breathe deeply, feeling the resistance in their limbs. Slowly and gently, they adapt to the new challenge, integrating the weights into their movements with care. The practice transforms from mere repetition to an exploration of strength and technique. As the sun begins to set, casting a warm glow over the training area, the swordsman takes a moment to appreciate the beauty of their surroundings. The trees sway gently in the breeze, their leaves whispering a soft melody. In this serene moment, they reflect on the importance of patience in their training, recognizing that mastery is not a destination but a journey. Returning to their practice, they focus on the transitions between techniques. Each movement is accompanied by a subtle shift in breath. Inhale deeply, exhale slowly. They begin to combine strikes, creating a seamless flow of action. Horizontal cut, step forward, vertical cut, step back. Each action is measured, each breath a reminder of the rhythm of their practice. The swordsman becomes increasingly aware of their surroundings, the soft sounds of the evening settling in. The distant chirping of crickets punctuates the calm, creating a soothing backdrop for their practice. With each strike, they envision the echoes of left-handed swordsmen who trained before them, the weight of history resting gently on their shoulders. As twilight deepens, they return to the chest, retrieving a small cloth, dampened with water. With care, they begin to wipe down the waster, ensuring it remains in good condition. The ritual of maintenance is vital, preserving the training equipment for future sessions. The cloth glides smoothly over the wood, the gentle friction creating a comforting sound. In the quiet of the evening, the swordsman reflects on the importance of etiquette among their peers. The medieval community of swordsmen understood the delicate balance required in a crowded practice space. Left-handed fighters were often faced with unique challenges, navigating the movements of right-handed peers while maintaining respect for their space. Today, they honor this tradition through their careful practice, ensuring that each movement remains respectful and measured. The swordsman places the waster back in its designated spot on the rack, feeling a sense of accomplishment envelop them. Each session contributes to their growth. Each moment of practice builds a path towards mastery. They allow themselves to breathe deeply once more, savoring the satisfaction of a focused practice. The soft glow of the setting sun casting long shadows across the grass. As darkness approaches, they gather their belongings, ensuring everything is returned to its rightful place. The wooden chest closes gently, the sound echoing softly in the stillness. The swordsman takes one last look at the practice area, feeling a sense of gratitude for the time spent in quiet reflection and movement. Little by little, slowly and gently, they walk away from the training space, carrying with them the lessons learned and the peace found in the embrace of their craft. 1. In this exploration of the medieval regulations surrounding left-handed sword fighting, we have gently wandered through the intricate details of daily life for left-handed warriors. We have examined the unique challenges they faced, the careful adjustments required to navigate a world dominated by right-handed peers, and the soft, often overlooked etiquette that guided their movements. Little by little, we uncovered the slow rhythms of practice, the measured steps taken to avoid awkward encounters, and the painstaking adaptations made in the heat of competition. As our journey comes to a close, imagine a quiet room, dimly lit, where the soft night air flows gently through an open window. Your body rests comfortably, shoulders relaxed, as the soothing sounds of history embrace you in tranquility. If you have enjoyed this gentle exploration, consider liking, subscribing, or leaving a comment to share your thoughts. And remember, to further immerse yourself in this calming experience, please turn on loop, allowing the gentle whispers of the past to soothe you once more.